Hello and welcome to this demonstration video on how to use the agenda feature of the Galway Toastmasters Club website. Once you have logged in as a member of Galway Toastmasters Club onto their website at galway.toastmastersclubs.org, you then will have access to the members only section. The first item on the members only section is the meeting agendas. If you click on that link, it will take you to the agenda. The agenda that is shown is usually the next meeting's agenda, provided it has been set up by the Vice President of Education. In this case, at the date of recording, the next meeting for Galway Toastmasters was due to be on the 20th of August 2025. There's some basic information here at the top for the Toastmaster, General Evaluator and Evaluators on who they should contact before the meeting to make sure people are attending. The venue is displayed here, and then there are a number of roles available on the night. For the purposes of this demo, I've removed the Sergeant at Arms and President details for privacy purposes. Usually they would be listed here as they are roles that remain with the same role holder throughout the Toastmaster year from the 1st of July to the 30th of June the following year. In order to sign up to a role, we can simply click on the sign up button beside that role. So if, for example, demo member wanted to sign up to be Toastmaster, they can click on the sign up button. That will then add their name in as having taken that role. That role will then no longer be available to other members to select. If just before the meeting, maybe a few days beforehand, they know they're definitely going to be in attendance, they can click on confirm. Alternatively, if they find they can no longer attend the meeting or don't want to take on the role, or perhaps select this role in error when they perhaps meant to take a counter instead, they can simply click on the X beside their name here to remove them from that particular role, and then it becomes available again. However, if you've signed up to a role and find you can no longer take it, I would ask that you contact the Vice President of Education and the Toastmaster to advise them of that. Ideally, you should try to find a replacement yourself for that role. So if you can't be the Toastmaster, perhaps put it out on our WhatsApp group asking if anybody could replace you in that role for the meeting. All roles are signed up to in the same way. However, if you decide you want to give a speech and you've agreed it with the Vice President of Education, there's a slightly different method of doing that. Again, if you're speaker 1, you can sign up by clicking on the sign up button. But we notice then some additional information is needed. All speeches in Toastmasters clubs should be normally given using the Pathways educational program. This is the educational program set up by Toastmasters to help their members develop the various skills that they need in public speaking and leadership. In order to select the correct path and project, you simply click on the arrow here beside the project time. I'm going to collapse these just for demonstration purposes. Currently, there are 6 pathways available to members to purchase or for a member to add on if they've completed another pathway. They are presentation mastery, dynamic leadership, engaging humour, motivational strategies, persuasive influence, and visionary communication. You will notice, however, there are other pathways here. That is because there are 5 legacy pathways that were available to members until they were reduced to 6. Let's say, for example, that demo member wants to work on the presentation mastery pathway, which they've selected. Clicking the plus arrow beside that pathway, you'll see a number of different options become available. These are all the projects from levels 1 through 5 for that particular pathway. For demonstration purposes, we're going to assume that demo member is working on their icebreaker, which is normally the first speech a member gives at a club, or the first speech on a new pathway. Having selected that, 2 new buttons appear here. One is the project description. By clicking on that, it will open a new tab, and that will give us some brief information on what the project is about. The main information on the project and videos, demonstrations, and information on how to complete the project are contained on the Basecamp part of the Toastmasters International website. There will be a separate video on how to access that. Going back to the agenda, another button that has appeared is the evaluation form. By clicking this, it will open up the evaluation form for that particular project. allow you to select your own name, put in your own name, the date of your speech, who the evaluator is going to be, and the speech title. The evaluator then should be able to fill in all the other boxes. Now, these are usually handwritten in, but you can type them in, starting the headings if you wish. It is the speaker's responsibility to bring this form with them to the meeting for their evaluator to use. If you are being evaluated online, if you're either speaking online or your evaluator is online, you can download this form and then email it to your evaluator for them to complete for you. Once you have got that information, the last piece of information that you need to input is the project title. So for this, we want to simply say our project is named Icebreaker, but you can literally name it anything you wish. With that information in, simply click on the Save Project Details. If you don't do this, the project details won't be saved. Now, before you do that, you can create an introduction that you want the Toastmaster to read for you, or leave this as it is. Once you click Save Project Details, a box will come up to say it's been saved. Close that, and then the agenda has been updated. Again, if you are happy you're going to give your speech, you can click Confirm. If for any reason you need to withdraw from giving your speech for whatever reason, you can do so on the agenda by clicking the X beside your name. Again, I would urge you to let the Vice President of Education and the Toastmaster for the evening know about that, so that they can help you look for an alternative speaker. Again, if you can find a speaker yourself, so much the better, but the Vice President of Education will be more than happy to try and help you do that. One alternative way of signing up to a role is up underneath the meeting agendas link. You can click on Quick Role Sign Up. By clicking on that, it brings up the details of any future agendas that have been set up. In this case, we only have one set up for the moment because this is a demonstration. You click to confirm you're attending, and you can select a role. I believe in the recording of this, a pop-up list that has appeared on my screen will not appear in the video for whatever reason, the way it's been recorded. But speaker 1 is no longer available. However, I want to now select myself as Toastmaster, which I can do by clicking on Toastmaster, which says it's available. It now appears on my box here. If I take role and close, the agenda should update to now reflect that demo member has taken on that role. Again, you can confirm or remove yourself from role as previously described. I hope you find this video useful and will allow you to access roles and speeches on our Toastmasters website.